Hey everyone, Krista here, and Gatorland in Orlando, Florida is a great alternative to the theme parks in the area. So if you're thinking about heading over there, I'm going to go over all of the details to help you plan your day. So let's get into it. Gatorland in Orlando is a 110-acre theme park and wildlife preserve that is located on the south side of Orlando. And there is so much more to do here than just looking at gators. But if you do want to see gators, there are over 2,000 live gators that live at Gatorland. And you can see them everywhere from the minute that you walk into the park. We visited on a beautiful Sunday morning, and the cost of admission at the time of filming was $32.99 to $35.99 for adults and $22.99 to $25.99 for kids, depending on if you buy your tickets online or at the gate. Plus, they are open every day of the week from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., including the holidays. Before you even walk into the park, you won't miss the giant gator mouth near the entrance of the park, which is an iconic centerpiece for Gatorland. Once you do walk into the park, you will be greeted by the juvenile gator ponds that are filled with baby and juvenile alligators. And if you ever wanted a chance to safely feed gators while you're visiting here in Florida, then there is a Junior Jumperoo experience where you and your kids can buy bait and hang it off the edge of fishing poles and watch as these gators jump and splash for this fish. There are also a few shows that are located here in Gatorland that are included in the price of admission. The first one that you'll come across is the Gator Jumperoo show, which is the show that made Gatorland famous. During this show, you can cheer on your favorite host as they feed dozens of alligators who compete with each other for lunch. So you'll see some amazing jumps from both the gators and the host during this 15-minute show, and I have to say, it's pretty entertaining. The next show that you'll come across is the Alligator Legends of the Swamp that is located on the south side of the park over here. During this show, you'll watch one of the bravest daredevils at Gatorland take the stage with a 6 to 8 foot alligator in order to demonstrate some amazing survival features of these legendary creatures, all while doing some crazy demonstrations that will put him just a little too close to these gators' mouths. The hosts here are great and will give you some great tips on what to do if you get attacked by a gator, or even what to do if you come across a gator in the wild.
So what do you guys do in the event that the alligator were to bite you? Well, that's highly unlikely. But in the rare event that it would happen, what y'all are going to do, you're going to punch it right at the tip of the snout. So it's covered in a bunch of those little black spots. Those black spots are sensory organs, and it's the most sensitive part on the alligator, and it should let you guys go.
And if you stay after the show, you can even get up close to a gator for a wonderful photo opportunity, Gatorland style. Don't worry, it's perfectly safe. They do tape the gator's mouth before you get anywhere near this gator. And well, if this sweet little girl can do it, so can you. And she's just so cute. Right next to the Legends show is the Up Close Encounters show, where you can watch as the host opens surprise boxes that are filled with everything from snakes, insects, and other exotic animals. Stay alert because you may just be asked to take part in the surprises, because they do pull volunteers from the audience to take part in the show. You may just find yourself with a giant tarantula like this lady, or even a boa constrictor. Once you've experienced all of the shows, there are a ton of additional things that you can do while you're here at Gatorland. Like, did you want to take a giant monster truck through a pond full of gators? Well, they have you covered with the Stompin Gator off-road adventure. On this ride, you'll board one of 3 12-foot-high custom-made off-road monster vehicles for a 15-minute rugged adventure. This fun ride will roll and bounce you through the backlands of Gatorland, and also includes characters, singing tour guides, swampy adventure, and of course a ton of gators. Each vehicle is specially branded and named after iconic alligators and crocodiles at Gatorland, including the Bone Crusher, Cannibal Jake, and the Swamp Ghost. Another thing that you can do is, did you ever want to hand feed a gator? Well, then they have the Adventure Hour, where you can step behind the gates of the park and venture into the alligator breeding marsh for this behind-the-scenes tour that you'll never forget. This breeding marsh is home to hundreds of alligators, and you'll get the opportunity to safely venture within feet of hungry giant alligators and create a thrilling feeding frenzy of your own. And if that wasn't enough for you, you can also clip in and zip off on an exciting outdoor adventure on the thrilling Screaming Gator Zipline at Gatorland. This journey will take you on a 1,200-foot high-flying, heart-pounding adventure from some of the finest zipline towers in the world. This zipline features multi-level launch pads that stand over 7 stories tall and have breathtaking views of the area. And this zipline is also rated one of the top ziplines in the world. And you'll get a chance to fly over some of the park's star attractions, like the alligator breeding marsh that has over 130 gators below. If flying over gators might be a little too scary for you, then you might want to take the kids over to the petting and feeding area, where you can be up close and personal with these adorable barnyard animals like goats, emus, and even cattle. There is even a family-friendly Gatorland Express, which is a relaxing and educational train ride around the park. This 15 to 20 minute train ride takes you all around the park and gives you a bit of history, as well as takes you into a few enclosures that you wouldn't be able to see otherwise. And if you're visiting on a warm day, there's even a fun splash pad for the kids to enjoy that is also included in admission. And after you've experienced all of this, there are still numerous animal exhibits that you can check out, in addition to the thousands of gators that are spread throughout the park. In the very back of the park is where you can see the jungle crocs of the world, where you can see everything from Cuban crocodiles, Nile crocodiles, and of course, more gators. There is even an Emu Enclosure back here where you can hand feed emus if you want. But the majority of the additional animals that you can see is located along this long boardwalk that runs north and south across the park. And along this boardwalk, you can see everything from panthers to a baby alligator Marsh that had one turtle that apparently thought he was a baby alligator, and these giant tortoises that will stop you in your tracks. There's also a parrot playground, the Snakes of Florida exhibit, and the Very Merry Aviary, where you can surround yourself with hundreds of tiny birds. If you walk down the pier to the Flamingo Island, you can of course see more flamingos and even more gators, but there's also a pair of capybaras that are located here too, and they are so cute. If you continue walking south down the boardwalk, you'll come across the petting zoo that we talked about earlier, the bobcats, and of course the very rare white gators that actually are located on 2 different areas of the boardwalk. And if you get to the very end of the boardwalk, there is the infamous doggone gator Chester, who is infamous for eating numerous dogs in the Tampa area until he was captured, and now has his own enclosure here at Gatorland. And at the time of filming, Chester just so happened to be getting his vitamin shots, and he took that a lot better than I would. And if you're looking for a bit of peace and quiet while you're here, then you can take the Swamp Walk, which is located at the end of the boardwalk right next to Chester's enclosure. This half-mile boardwalk will take you over real swamplands, all the while pointing out some interesting facts about the plants and some key points of the walk. It's a beautiful, peaceful area, and I highly recommend doing it while you're here. But of course, you came to Gatorland to see gators, right? And well, you can definitely get your fill of them while you're here. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, you can see more of the juvenile gators at the very front of the park as you enter. But the best place to be able to see them is in the back of the park near the breeding marsh. And if you come during mating season like we did, you'll get to hear the menacing sound of the alligators bellowing throughout the marsh, which was so loud when I first stepped into the marsh that I almost thought they were pumping the sound out through the speakers across the park. They only do this in the mornings and the evening, so if you want to go and check this out, you have to go right as they open in the morning. And if you visit Gatorland during the spring, you'll also get a chance to catch the numerous birds that migrate to these marshlands every year. There are several nests that are right next to the boardwalk, and if you look closely, you can even catch a few baby birds. If you want to get a really great view of the entire marsh, then you'll have to go to the very top of the observation tower that's located right in the middle of the marsh. Here, you'll get a bird's eye view of the entire park, and it's really cool. If you come here for the entire day, there are a few places to grab a bite to eat while you're in the park. The main restaurant is Pearl's Good Eats on the south side of the park, and you can famously pick up a serving of fried gator while you're here. But there's also a couple of other eateries like the small food stand near the front of the park, as well as an ice cream shop, a coffee stand, and a fudge shop. If you're visiting Central Florida and looking for other things to do besides theme parks, I put together a whole playlist for you that I'll plug up on the screen right now. Until next time, everyone, I hope you have an amazing day and go out and enjoy some Florida sunshine.